Tuscaloosa to frenzy.
Firing. Touchdown, Alabama.
SEC champions, Alabama, Crimson Tide.
We talked about Alabama.
Step back three. Money. And the Alabama Crimson Tide will roll into the Final Four.
Roll Tide!
Roll Tide and welcome to TideTV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Lillian Everest. And Lillian, it's great to have you back with us on the show this week. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Roger. Thanks. I'm excited to be back. We had a big week here this past week at the Capstone.
We really did, as the regular season's starting to wind down for Alabama football. And this past weekend, Crimson Tide held their next to last regular season home game.
Alabama hosted Mercer for just the 5th time in school history.
Ryan Williams got the game started off with 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground and also 1 through the air. 29-yard run was Williams' second rushing touchdown of the year on Alabama's first drive of the game. Then on the Tide's next drive, it was Milroe connecting with Williams from 14 yards out to make it 14-0 Crimson Tide.
Then, after an incredible one-handed interception from Quay Rousseau off a tipped pass from Deontay Lawson, Milroe with the play action found a streaking Robbie Oots down the middle of the field for 44 yards. Bama then got another big play from the defense, a play that was reminiscent of that Malachi Moore forced fumble at Wisconsin. Deshaun Jones with the big hit, and Xavier Brown scoops it up and takes it all the way to the house, 68 yards for the score. That made it 28-0 Crimson Tide.
Alabama added 3 more touchdowns in the second half, a 3-yard run for Milroe, Richard Young 1-yard score, and then the 4th quarterback to play for the time of the game, Austin Mack. He connected with freshman Rico Scott for the first touchdown of their careers. Over 90 players saw action for the Crimson Tide as Bama rolled to the 52-7 win.
Good to get a win and get a lot of guys out there on the field. They all put in a lot of work, and there's that little window that you try to hit where you get the ones that work and you get the score where you need it to be, and for the guys to play a quarter and a half essentially and get a lot of guys on the football field, it was fun to see them get out there and play. And the guys worked hard all week long. Thought they really had a good demeanor about them, working on themselves individually, wanting to build on what we did a week ago, and going to the tail end of the season here. I think relatively, healthy as far as who played today, and no one getting seriously dinged up, for next week.
A good win by the Tide over a 9-1 Mercer team, and it was great to see over 90 players getting in the game on Saturday.
Yeah, and several of those players made big plays, even got into the end zone. Then on Tuesday, the College Football Playoff Committee released their latest rankings.
And with just 2 Saturdays before championship weekend, we're starting to get a pretty good idea of what the committee is thinking.
In the College Football Playoff Committee's 3rd rankings of the year, Alabama moved up 3 spots to number 7. The committee paired Alabama with 6th-ranked Notre Dame in a first-round matchup in South Bend. The final College Football Playoff selections will be announced on Sunday, December 8th at 11 a.m.
And we have a time and channel for the Iron Bowl. Alabama's final game of the regular season will take place next Saturday, November 30th at 2:30 on ABC at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. One of the reasons for success of this time of year has been the offensive line.
Our Christopher England was joined by the anchor of this year's offensive line group for this week's First Off the Field.
Christopher joins us now from the Hank Crisp Indoor Practice Facility.
I'm Christopher England with TideTV, joined by Parker Brailsford, center for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're here fresh off the practice field. Just kind of talk about practice. Just what's the vibe out there this week?
The vibe is our word of the week is killer instinct. We got to go in there and empty it out like we plan to do.
Talking about killer instinct, that offense has had a killer instinct the last couple of games against Missouri, against LSU, and that running game is starting to come together. Just kind of talk about the offense, that offensive line, and how the running game is starting to come together now.
I just think we're starting to mesh well, like off the field, and I think it's starting to show up on the field. Like I trust the guy to my right, my left, whoever it is, whether it's Gino, J-Rod, Book, I just trust those guys, so it's starting to show.
Let's talk about Jalen, too. That last game against LSU, man, he had some huge runs when you really needed him. Just kind of talk about them and how you've seen him kind of mature throughout the season under Coach DeBoer's offense.
He's definitely progressed. I mean, I'm excited. Like, I was very excited to see his growth, and, it's been a lot of fun.
Now, for you, you're a guy that played under Coach DeBoer a couple of years at Washington. Now you came here to Alabama with him, kind of seeing his offense, his system kind of starting to get implemented a little more, kind of things kind of running smoothly. Kind of talk about that and just how happy you are to see the way things are going.
It's a lot of fun. obviously when I was living at Washington, it was a little bit different with the offense, the scheme we ran. It's still the same thing, but there's like little wrinkles in that give our guys the ability to do what they do.
You still have everything on the table that you wanted to accomplish before the season started. SEC championship game is still a possibility, college football playoffs. Just kind of talk about that and just what's your mentality kind of finishing the season out?
I mean, I'm definitely excited to see what happens. Obviously, there's some things that need to happen for us to go to the SEC championship, but I'm definitely excited.
You've played in a couple of tough environments so far this season. Tennessee, LSU this weekend will be another one at Oklahoma and Norman. Just kind of talk about playing there, but also against going against Oklahoma. They have a pretty tough defense too.
You know, they do have a really good defense, and I think we're up for the challenge. But as far as going on the road and going to those type of environments, I think it's something we really like to do. I think it's starting to become a part of our identity.
I appreciate it, Parker. Good luck, man. Roll Tide, and look forward to talking to you again this season, and good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
For Parker Brailsford, I'm Christopher England, reporting from the Hank Chris Indoor Practice Facility.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
In every moment, greatness awaits for the bold, the visionary, and those ready to take their shot. Here, we don't chase success, we define it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome back. It was a beautiful day at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium this past Saturday.
Alabama took on the Mercer Bears for the Tide's next-to-last home game of the season.
Let's take an all-access look at the highlights, starting with a pretty cool shot, a bird's-eye view of Bryant-Denny.
Go on that field with an edge. 11 bodies playing swarm team mentality, right? We ain't playing to the standard. What does the standard look like today?
C.J. Miller gets the carry. Ball's on the ground. Fumble. And Alabama has it to Monty Jackson. Shot in and pried it free.
They hand it off. Ryan Williams cuts it up. 25-20 foot race, and you know he's going to win it. Touchdown, Alabama. Ryan Williams, 29 yards.
Gonna run it on 3rd and 2. McGee wrestled. Jahad Campbell. Milroe picks out C.J. Dupree wide open.
Play action. They'll dump it off to Ryan Williams, trying to get to the corner. Gets a block, splits defenders, gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama, 14 yards. Second TD for the freshman. Drops straight back, fires across the middle. It's deflected, and it's picked off. What a play by Alabama. Coming up with it, Quay Russaw.
Tested today. Milroe off his back foot, wide open. Busted coverage. Robbie Oots, the senior. 44-yard touchdown. Pressure comes. Neubauer in trouble. Throws. Completes the pass for a Mercer first down to Roble. Ball comes out. Alabama has it. Xavier Brown with blockers in front of him. Brown takes it for a Crimson Tide touchdown. 3rd and 9. Neubauer in trouble. Down he goes. Jahad Campbell. Really strong first half for Caleb DeBoer's team. Looking to make it 3 straight wins, up 31-7 at halftime. Pitch here, Jam Miller running right, trying to turn that corner, and he does. First down, Alabama to start the second half. Pump and go, Milroe right on the money, finds Bernard.
Quarterback Keith Milroe trying to get to the edge, fights at the goal line, gets Gets upended, gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Jalen Milroe.
That ball's knocked down, well contested. Bray Hubbard, the sophomore safety.
That's another thing you get to do in a game like this is get some more guys on the field. Helps your depth out.
3rd and 11. Simpson in trouble. Rolls right. Buys himself some time. Going to tuck and run for the first down. How about that by Ty Simpson? So after the 2 incompletions of 3rd and 15, and Simpson somehow gets out of the sack, plants his feet, throws downfield, and it's caught. What a play! Ty Simpson looking like Eli Manning in that Super Bowl.
Handoff goes to Young, walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Great to see those second string, and in the case of some guys, third string guys, make some plays on that drive.
Shot to the end zone. It's caught. Dropped it right into Rico Scott to cap off a 16-play Alabama drive.
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
In every moment, greatness awaits. For the bold, the visionary, and those ready to take their shot. Here, we don't chase success. We define it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome back. The Alabama football team hits the road this weekend for their final away game of the regular season.
Yeah, the Tide travels to Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. And for a preview of this weekend's matchup in Norman, our Christopher England joins us once again.
They are two of the most storied programs in college football history. Alabama is second wins all time with 973, and Oklahoma isn't too far behind at number 6 with 949 wins. Despite both teams playing over 1,300 games each, this will be just the 7th meeting all time between the Crimson Tide and Sooners, and just the 2nd in Norman. Of those 7 matchups, Oklahoma leads the series 3-2 with 1 tie. Alabama won the first game of the series and then the last one. The first win came in the 1963 Orange Bowl. President John F. Kennedy watched the Tide roll in Miami. Joe Namath connected with Richard Williamson for the game's first score on this 25-yard touchdown pass. Cotton Clark added another score on this 15-yard run to give Alabama the 14-0 lead. The Crimson Tide defense shut out the Sooners' offense as Leroy Jordan had an Alabama Bowl record 31 tackles on the day, as number 5 Alabama defeated 7th-ranked Oklahoma in the 1963 Orange Bowl 17-0. The last meeting came in the opening round of the 2018 college football playoffs. That game was also played at the Orange Bowl. Alabama jumped out to a 28-0 lead and never looked back as the number 1 ranked Crimson Tide defeated the 4th ranked Sooners 45-34. In their first year as a member of the Southeastern Conference, Oklahoma enters the matchup 5-5 with a 1-5 record in the SEC. Oklahoma's best win was against now 20th ranked 9-2 Tulane. The Sooners never trailed in that game as they won 34-19 in Week 3. Oklahoma's only SEC win on the season was against the Auburn Tigers at Jordan-Hare Stadium back in Week 5. Trailing 21-16 with just over 4 minutes left in the game, Kip Lewis picked off the pass from Peyton Thorne and returned it 63 yards for the game-winning score as Oklahoma defeated Auburn 27-21. Oklahoma is dead last in the SEC in total offense, averaging just 326 yards per game. The Sooners are next to last in scoring offense at 25 points per game and are worst in the SEC in allowing sacks. The Oklahoma O-line has allowed 41 sacks on the year, but the offense has shown some improvement since a change at the offensive coordinator position after the 35-9 loss to South Carolina and quarterback Jackson Arnold being reinserted into the lineup early in that matchup against the Gamecocks. Arnold has completed 63% of his passes for 705 yards and 5 touchdowns with no interceptions. Arnold has 479 yards rushing on the year, but the Sooners' leading rusher has been Javante Barnes with 598 yards. Barnes had his best game of the season 2 weeks ago against Maine as he rushed for 203 yards on just 18 carries with 3 touchdowns. Oklahoma ranks in the top 10 nationally in several defensive categories. The Sooners are 6th, allowing just 2.9 yards per rush, and are 9th in rushing touchdowns allowed with just 8. Oklahoma is also tied for 7th nationally in sacks with 32, led by defensive lineman R. Mason Thomas, who is 5th in the SEC with 7 sacks. Another key stat that could have a huge impact on the game is turnover margin. Alabama leads the SEC at plus 13, while Oklahoma is minus 1. The Tide is also 3rd in the nation with 24 turnovers gained, while the Sooners rank 107th, committing 18 turnovers on the year. Kickoff in Norman is scheduled for 6:30. It will be the ABC Primetime Game of the Week. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV this week coming up next.
It is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight.
I thought the whole crowd was unbelievable.
I wouldn't miss anything you could possibly be at this season because it's going to be a special season.
Alabama fans at Coleman Coliseum have been so good all year long.
What a scene at Coleman Coliseum.
Let's fill Coleman every time we get a chance to fill Coleman.
What an electric crowd here.
Let's just support this team because it's not that often that you get to put a team of this caliber together.
Welcome back. I'm Lillian Everest. He's Roger Hoover, and this is Tide TV This Week. And Roger, the Alabama men's basketball team was in Birmingham on Wednesday night to take part in the CM Newton Classic.
It was Alabama facing a 25th ranked and 3-0 Illinois in that matchup at Legacy Arena. Alabama came out hot in the ballgame, making five three-pointers in their first 7 possessions of the game. It was Grant Nelson making a perfect 3 for 3 for Bama's first 9 points as he led the Tide with 19 first-half points. Also perfect from the floor was Aiden Holloway as he knocked down all 4 of his shots to finish the half with 11 points. Alabama made 13 of 17 from 2-point range in the first half. Alabama's defense really suffocated the Illinois offense as the Tide forced the Fighting Illini to miss 11 consecutive shots from the floor over a 5-minute stretch. That helped the Crimson Tide secure a 14-point advantage at the half, 52-38.
Facing their biggest halftime deficit this season, Illinois fought back to cut the lead to 8 on 2 separate occasions, but each time the Tide responded, increasing their lead back to double digits. Latrell Wrightsell Jr. led the way in the second half, scoring 13 of his 16 points in the final 20 minutes of play. Liberian Philon also scored in double figures, scoring 10 of his 16 points in the second half, as 7th-ranked Alabama rolled to the 13-point win over number 20 Illinois, 100-87.
Despite Mark Sears being held scoreless in the game, the Crimson Tide eclipsed the century mark for just the second time this season. The 52 first-half points were also a season high.
The 22nd-ranked Alabama women's basketball team remained undefeated after their road matchup with Louisiana Monroe on Sunday. Sarah Ashley Barker set the tone for the game as she knocked down a 3-pointer in the opening seconds of the game. Alabama led 23-18 after that opening period, but the difference in the game would be that second period.
It was the Crimson Tide outscoring ULM 23-4 in that second period, with Barker leading the Crimson Tide with 10 points in that second 10 minutes of play. Crimson Tide led 46-22 at the half. Barker scored in double digits for the 5th consecutive game. She knocked down 10 of 14 from the floor as she had a game-high 25 points as Alabama improved to 6-0 on the year with a 75-52 win. Along with her 25 points, Barker also had a team-high 7 rebounds. Zay Green also scored in double figures as she finished with 13 points with 4 rebounds and 4 assists.
The Alabama cross-country team was victorious as they swept the NCAA South Regionals this past week. The men captured the 8th regional championship in program history as the men finished first.
Freshman Dismas Lokira won the men's individual 10K title at a time of 29:38. To mark the 3rd consecutive year, an Alabama men's runner has won the Southern Regional crown.
The men took the top 3 spots as Lokira, Victor Kiprop, and Dennis Caputo finished 1, 2, and 3.
The women also won the NCAA South Regional Championship. The regional title was the 2nd in the last 3 years and the 5th in program history.
Alabama was the only school to have 3 finish inside the top 7 on the women's side. Doris Lemon-Gole finished 2nd, just 100th of a second behind first place. Brenda Touay finished 3rd, while Feline Menine finished 7th.
And the Crimson Tide received some more honors from the Southeastern Conference. Doris Lemon-Gole was named the SEC Women's Runner of the Year.
On the men's side, Dismas Lokira was named the SEC Men's Freshman Runner of the Year.
And Dan Waters, the head coach, was named the SEC Women's Coach of the Year after leading the women to their 4th SEC Women's title and 2nd in the last 3 years. Congratulations to all 3 on those fantastic honors.
The Alabama women's volleyball team had an exciting weekend. The Tide defeated Mississippi State for the first time since 2020 this past Friday. Alabama rallied from a 2-1 match deficit with a hard-fought 25-21 win in the 4th, setting up a dominant 15-6 win in the 5th to get the win.
Crimson Tide now an impressive 5-1 in 5-set matches this season, including a 3-1 mark in SEC play. And also on Sunday, the Crimson Tide set a new Foster Auditorium attendance record with 3,800 fans. They hosted the 14th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Alabama scored the first point of the match and held the lead 3 more times before Texas pulled away to win the opening frame 25-16.
The Tide held tough in set 2 as Texas narrowly won 25-23. The Longhorns then took the match with a 25-15 win in set 3 to complete the sweep. Stay with us. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next.
Roll Tide, roll! The Alabama Crimson Tide. Cunningham again. Shot good and she's fouled. There she goes and there's Barker. Timmons there. Setting her team up. Possibly the dagger for Alabama. Right to the rim. Got it. Kicks. Nye, right corner 3. She hits it. Nye steals the inbounds. Left side to Timmons. Layup good. It's a 2-point game.
Joust in close, Campbell finishes! Alabama turns the tide! The Crimson Tide defeat the Bulldogs!
Weathers, one-on manual, up and under.
She can hit that.
How in the world did she get that off?
And a foul.
Going the other way. Holloway fouled from behind and backed it in! Pocket pick, foul! No look, ball's on the ground, and Alabama has it. Turns the corner, steps on the gas, touchdown, Alabama. And it's intercepted, deflected at the line, and went right to Quay Rousseau. Milrow off his back foot, wide open, Robbie Oots. Ball comes out, Alabama has it. Xavier Brown takes it for a Crimson Tide touchdown.
He avoids the rush. Got a man there, and it is caught. Cuevas
to the end zone. It's caught.
Those were our ATI Plays of the Week.
Now let's take a look at our players for the week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
Start with Sarah Ashley Barker. She had her 5th consecutive double-digit scoring game as she shot 10 of 14 from the floor, scoring a game-high 25 points with 7 rebounds in Alabama's 75-52 win over ULM.
And freshman Dismas Lokira won the men's individual championship at the NCAA Southern Regional Championships. Lokira was also named the SEC Men's Freshman Runner of the Year.
Congratulations to our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week.
Only 2 weeks left in the regular season for the Alabama football team, Roger. It's going to be an exciting couple weeks as we wait to see where the Tide plays in the postseason.
And we certainly will be looking forward to that. Lily in Oklahoma this weekend, the Iron Bowl next weekend. I can't wait.
Neither can I, Roger, and we hope to see you back here next week, everyone, for more Tide TV this week. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.